Hello, my name is Gabrielle Sexton, and today I will be teaching at EDUC 200, teaching investiture achievement, its intent and its organization. I was in Pathfinders and Adventurers as a kid, and I really enjoyed it. And I am excited to get to help with teaching AYMT Instructor certification. So, my pointer. And I could use a handout. I forgot to grab one.
Which one?
For investiture achievement. So today we will be covering what is investiture. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. What is investiture achievement, or IA? What is its intent or purpose? What goals are we trying to accomplish? How is this program organized to be able to accomplish these goals? And how does IA differ from AY? Why was the curriculum changed? These are the questions there. So, the intent. Why was IA, investiture achievement, developed? Well, they did a poll. I'd like for you all to refer to page 2 of your handouts and back to page 1. So before I go into this, I'll go ahead and read you this page. This is from the Investiture Achievement website. So I'm giving you the history that they're saying this is why it was changed. For the last several years, a committee of Pathfinder leaders has been working on assessing the AY classwork curriculum that was developed in the 80s. That curriculum has served us well, the happy side of it. But more and more club leaders were asking for something that would connect with today's 21st century Pathfinders. After surveying local club staff, area coordinators, and conference leaders, the following themes surfaced. And now we can look up here. The problems with AY. There's too much reading, they felt. Too much memorization. Not able to complete curriculum in 1 year. Outdated resources. Unclear purpose for some requirements. Why? Not enough hands-on activities. And the advanced requirements weren't interesting. They were uninviting, they weren't interesting. So, based on these recommendations, and with the guidance of an educational specialist, the task force reviewed each of the requirements to make sure that they aligned with curriculum objectives, educational practices, and Pathfinder ministry goals. During this process, there was a special focus to age appropriateness and a series of requirements that was sequenced from year to year, allowing the Pathfinder to build on skills that they were learning the previous years. In 2009, the Pathfinder Committee voted to accept the requirements presented as the framework of a new curriculum. Over the next 12 months, clubs from across North American Division piloted the new curriculum and gave their feedback to the task force. Based on that feedback received, final changes were made, and the Pathfinder Committee voted in March 2011 to implement this investiture achievement curriculum division-wide by the fall of 2011. So, that's why it's here, and I'd love to hear your feedback before I move on. Have y'all felt that between going from, how many here are using, their clubs are using the AY rather than IA? How many here are using AY? None. How many here are using IA? Okay, pretty much everyone's using IA. So, feedback. How do you feel moving to IA compared to the AY? Is it better, or in what ways is it better?
I like that they have the journals, and so the kids can actually make it like their own. It's like a diary where they can scribble and put their thoughts into it.
Right.
Compared to the one where it was just a booklet and it's a list of things they need to do.
Right. Well, and then think about the words. Journal versus diary.
Yes.
Right? Because diary's more girl word anymore. Okay, so anyone else? How do you feel about using the new curriculum? Is it better, and in what ways? Is it worse, and in what ways?
No. I think it's better they get to, actually there's more verses to read and compare and then come out with a final thought. what is it, how is it talking to you, how is it applying to you,
Mhm.
than just do this is what I want you to read. Let's go next one, next one. You're applying, you're putting yourself into that topic.
So you like the IA applies
Yeah.
lessons? So you like the hands-on activities?
Yeah.
Great. Do you feel that there is enough reading?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. Being that it is.
Any other thoughts? The youth organization was taken out, or it's not focused on the new IA. Discussion in reading versus honors. How many of y'all like that there's more honors to do? Not so much? Yes?
I like more honors as far as it gives the kids, that practical, tangibleness of what they're doing. It's like, okay, I did this, I'm going to get something tangible at the end that I can see and feel.
Yes. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Okay, how about this? How many of y'all like IA more than AY? One? You like them both? How many of you like them both equally the same?
I personally like both. However, then I'm a reader. I love reading, and I try to share that. On the same hand, I love my dad, and he is not a reader. Do I love him any less? No. His learning is not his strong point, and so I understand that, and I think there's a lot of positives for the change.
How about your Pathfinders? How many of y'all feel like your Pathfinders likes the new curriculum or the old curriculum more?
I don't think they know any, they don't know, the old one, and so what they just know is the new.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say, you got a lot of churches who are not doing the Wednesday night meetings anymore and will meet like twice a month on Sabbath afternoon. So the new curriculum is simpler, and there's not as much, so it can be completed, because that was the thing, is there's too much to complete in a single year. So it's a little simpler, there's fewer things so you can complete. But if you are someone who has more class time, meets every Wednesday, I like that you can now add for what you believe your club, what would bless your club. The requirements are easier to meet, so now we can add in all these other special
Yes.
things that would be good for our club, and the director can choose that direction then, I think, instead of, classwork is, can we get it all done?
Yes,
So-
and the problem with this thing, even just thinking of the IA, kids are bombarded with stuff at school already, and so to accomplish a reading assignment, it's a new generation, and they're more on technology and those kind of things.
Updated resources.
Yeah,
That's right.
so we utilize what they are utilizing nowadays, but at the same time, it's still a lot of classwork that we're putting on the kids.
See, there is so much that I appreciate when I was growing up in the good old days, at least with Pathfinders, where I went to school in Orlando. There was the one school and 3 large churches supporting that fairly decent-sized church school. But at church with Pathfinders, maybe there was the memorization there, but I certainly never remember it. I really am firmly convinced that there was a close working relationship between the school and what the requirements in Pathfinders were, and there was a lot of, hey, we already did that in school, that's
Yes.
just taken care of. And
Right, and that is the other thing then, is that with there being now the split between school and Pathfinders, this does benefit the club to be able to do what they need to do. I do want to throw a word of caution out there though. Back in the day, there was more memorization, and then they took memorization out, and there was some memorization but a lot of reading, and now they're taking reading out, and so there's a little bit of memorization and a little bit of reading, so you see the
decline.
and really, we want to not go any further than that. Oh my goodness, for our children's children to say, oh, we don't want to do that, but that's such a blessing to our minds to
Yes.
read and to memorize. As a word of caution to instructors, encourage this curriculum as much as possible. But we do not want to go any further down
Yes,
than
and
this.
you want to push them to excellence. You
Yes.
don't want to just, you pass, You want to attain something and deserve attaining it. and have that pride in achieving something that they worked hard for, not just given to them because it's expected to just be given to them.
Not just not given, but also not to say, well, they can't memorize. Why should we expect it of them? It's not something that they really can do. When they can, it's a skill that can be learned. And it's a blessing to our minds to learn these skills. And so to promote and encourage, that curriculum. Okay, let's see here. Intent of the Pathfinder Club. Okay, this is the brochure version, okay? Brochure version. Pathfinder Club is a church-centered recreation spiritual program and is designed for both boys and girls in grades 5 to 10. The program offers action, adventure, challenge, and group activities that produce team spirit and loyalty to the church. The ideals and objectives of the Seventh-day Adventist Church must be relevant and attractive to its youth. I love this, but it is the brochure version. So I also love history. I love going back to where we came from and understanding that foundation and where we started, why we're doing this. So let's go back to the very beginning. From the AY Story by Bob Holbrook. These teens, Luther Warren, who was 14, and Eric Benner, who was 17, initiated Adventism's first youth organization for evangelistic, what was the purpose? Why? Evangelistic outreach, which seems to have included strengthening friendship bonds through social activities in which they could invite their non-Adventist friends. That was why it got started. I want to remember that. For me, when you have that, so this is my purpose, and you're evaluating what you're doing against your purpose, I go back to this. Mission mindset. Intent of the IA classes. There are 6 classes, as you of course know. Friend for 5th grade, that's the other difference. Rather than, because there was always this confusion. They're in 4th grade, but they're 10. They're in 5th grade, but they're only 9 years old. What do you do, right? Well, they've taken the confusion out. It is simply grade. Friend is 5th grade, Companion 6th grade, Explorer 7th grade, Ranger 8th grade, Voyager 9th grade, and Guide 10th grade, regardless of age.
Check. I'm not a fan.
I understand also that directors have the ability to make a director's decision on some of these things as well. But it does make it clear, because I remember that being a confusing thing, and now it's just nice and clear. And as a director, if you make an exception, that's for you to do.
We had kids that were in Friends for 5 years because their parents said, well, I don't want to leave this child at home when the older brother is in Pathfinders. Can I just let him go? Okay, fine. But we kept that child for 3 years in Friends.
Wow. I really got that curriculum down.
Yeah. Oh, they washed dishes 3 years.
Like,
But they're still in Pathfinders.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
We stick to the curriculum. That's the rule, and we stay.
Well, and because my son we moved from Michigan to Ohio when he was turning 5, and Ohio's cutoff date is in September, and he was born in October. Michigan's is in December, and so he did not start with his right grade for his age because of the cutoff based on the states. So that's why this year he couldn't be a friend, because
So he's now
he's
companion.
10, but he's 10, but he's not in the 5th grade. He should be if we had stayed in Michigan. He'd be in the 5th grade.
That's fine.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But they were like, no, he's not in the 5th grade, and I was like, real?
Right.
Yeah.
But again, it really comes down to a director's decision from there, because every director is different. Some rules more than others, and some, let's be flexible and help. But for the curriculum, I appreciate that it's clearer on this point.
Yes.
Right.
It was confusing
Yeah.
before. And I appreciate directors that are flexible, by the way. It's nice. Yes, ma'am.
I think when it's all defined by, companion 6th grade and 7th grade, but then we have homeschoolers and they're like in between. It's kind of hard to place them, It's like my son finished like companion, but he can't move to the Explorer because he's not the age, So, I don't like these, they're just boxed in you. And it's so defined, And I wish there was a lot more flexibility.
You can do more honors.
He already did a lot of things, he just wanted.
Again, that really, and this is something that maybe also y'all would want to know, as far as what the trajectory is it's becoming more and more a local decision thing rather than what did NID said. Well, NID anymore is giving more power to the
local
unions.
club.
The unions are giving more power to the conferences. Conferences are giving more power to the individual clubs or churches. And so again, I would petition directors that, because they have more power than they used to do what they need to for their club and their Pathfinders. So, okay, so Friends is a course of study designed for improving mental, physical, spiritual, and social skills that will help one to be a friend to man and a friend to God. That's why it's called Friend. Companion, improving mental, physical, spiritual, and social skills to get a more meaningful life and to be a companion to Jesus and to man. Because what's the difference between being a friend and being a companion?
It's a higher level.
Yeah, deeper.
It's a deeper relationship.
That's right. But it starts with a friend,
We
right?
knowing
You
them
start there.
first then.
And you get to, yeah, that's right. So the progression. Explorers, of course, is a study that will help one to find new adventure in exploring God's Word and exploring the things He's created in nature. So that's why it's Explorer. Ranger, of course, is a study that will open new areas of discovery in the natural and spiritual worlds to secure true and genuine happiness. So if you think of an explorer, you think of someone like Lewis and Clark who goes out and they're exploring something brand new. When you think of a ranger, what do you think?
Takes care of what they find.
True. Park ranger. So you're thinking this land area.
Yeah.
So you're really getting to know something a little better.
The ranger knows the area. If you get lost, you look for a ranger.
That's right. And
Wait,
you look for like
You can find it. You can find
If
what
you
you're
can find
looking
one.
for before you find the ranger. But if you can find one, he can help you.
That's funny. Okay, and then Voyager, of course, the study of physical, mental, cultural, spiritual development that challenges the team to develop a wholesome self-concept of Christian lifestyle. So, Explorer goes out to unknown territory and explores. A Ranger gets to know that area better. When you think Voyager, what does your mind usually go to?
Sure.
Well, are you on land or are you out at sea?
Oh,
On a
see.
boat. So maybe you're going out even further. And in here,
So we're like a mission
yeah.
trip.
And really, here they're saying you're learning about yourself better and the Christian lifestyle. So you're voyaging into something brand new, not brand new, but you're really getting to know yourself better. And then in Guide, can you be a leader if you don't understand yourself, your teaching styles, your personality, how you're relating to others? Guide, you take it the next step forward after you've gotten to know yourself better and God better. And that is, it's of course a study that emphasizes personal growth, spiritual discoveries, prepare for Pathfinder for development in leadership and survival techniques, learning to lead in the classroom and lead outdoors. And again, if you understand yourself better, which is what you do in the Voyager class, then you can be a better leader.
I actually thought about these things because a lot of our high school students drop out, or kind of like they come, they don't come. I was looking at it. How can we prevent them from doing that? So I was looking at the IA classes, the different tracks, and it's like friend. They have to develop the friendships, learn to be a friend. That's when you invite. I was thinking. I told my husband we need to invite their friends from school to come and do a game night with us. They're the ones who are inviting all different people to come and witness. And then when they get to companion level, then they actually had this bonds that they've created as a friend. They move on to companion, they'll be better friends. They have a deeper relationship. And then explorer, we send them out in their community, kind of explore the community. Probably encourage them, you said, a deeper study of the Bible because they're exploring the Bible more. Encourage them to be part of PBE and really delve into the Word. And then Ranger, apparently DNR helps with, I don't know, I haven't contacted them, but we can let them be like little rangers, you know, explore the
You're
outdoors.
getting to know it better.
Yeah.
Not just learn this, it's not the first time you run across it now. Now you're getting to understand
Yes.
deep in your study.
Yes,
There
and-
are different state parks that do have ranger, and even national parks have little junior ranger.
Yeah, I think
That's
they've worked
neat.
with Boy
Programs.
Scouts and stuff too, so they know that we have this program. We probably need to do more connections with them and work with our rangers, you know. And then Voyager, my sister is a Voyager counselor in England, and they actually took a boat, a little boat, and did a voyage in a small canal or something. I mean, make it more meaningful to the kids. So you're a friend, do friend stuff. You're a companion, do more companion stuff. It builds companionship, and then you explore your community. You take them exploring somewhere, explore the word in a different
So
way.
their class fellow becomes more valuable.
Yes,
to them.
because they're chosen. Those names are chosen for a specific reason, and then you get Voyager. It's like when you get to the Voyager, this is what you're gonna do. So they have something that's first year high school. They're starting to that.
Yes.
I'm two. This is
Uh,
two.
Very intimidating.
Yeah, it's for little kids. I'm not, you know.
You're really having to define yourself by high school
Yeah.
because there's so many older kids there who are defined. This is who I am.
And
so
their
that first
some
year-
of their friends are not in Pathfinder, so they don't think it's cool. But if you're doing cool stuff, taking them on a voyage, making them, sort of like a mission trip or a trip somewhere, they're actually taking a voyage. And then do guide, they're actually the ones leading the younger ones to do all this other stuff. And so you have like a good, if you have a good program, you get it going, you'll keep the kids for sure. They be TLTs in your club.
Right.
They don't want to go anywhere because that's their family.
I'll throw another word out there then for the Voyager part, safe. Where Pathfinders is a safe place to get to know who you are. Because again, in high school it's scary, that first year. Who am I, where do I belong?
Yes.
And redefining yourself at this age. And then, so yes. The advanced classes are Trail Friend, Trail Companion, Wilderness Explorer, Wilderness Ranger, Frontier Voyager, and Frontier Guide. I like that. And a summary of class intent. Friend is a friend of God and man. Companion, they're learning a deeper companion relationship with God and man. Explorers are exploring, diving into God's word and nature. Rangers, they're broadening that range of study, really getting to understand it. Voyager, there's a voyage of self-development, and then guiding others, both in the classroom and in the wild. And this is in your handout, by the way.
You know what else I was thinking about, the purpose of Pathfinders, I think, I don't know what the original kind of, I'm gonna do some research on that, but I would imagine that since it was like started in the 1920s and everything, they were thinking about preparing kids for the end, the final crisis, like survival
It is.
skills,
It's
it's
It used to be
survival
called
skills.
missionary volunteer, and
And-
so that's what it's for.
Yeah, no,
Well,
a missionary
missionary
volunteer
too,
is a little
too.
bit different than survival, because I think the initial, I don't know, let me say, when I read the history of the Pathfinders, and, it was kind of like Boys and Girls Club, but I'm thinking, and I'm gonna do some more research, that they also were thinking about look at what they're training them, nature and all these things, and camping, all that is about survival, like
Yeah.
time of trouble, preparation.
Well, and a farmer puts out seed with the faith that that seed is going to get rained on, right? And they say that prepare for rain, right?
Uh-huh.
If we don't prepare our kids for the second coming, or we don't prepare our kids for, as you said, missionary life, it's like, oh, go be a missionary, but we don't actually ever put that preparation into it, then, well, if you don't put seed down, there's not going to be a sprout. There's not going to be that growth. And so I agree. I do believe that it was intended both for, if you think the end times are coming real soon, you should prepare your kids for how to survive it. If you want your kids to grow up to be missionaries, you should prepare them for being uncomfortable and how to get through that.
And the thing is, you're right. The kids actually are begging for survival techniques. They're
Right.
begging for all these things. I want to do outdoor stuff. They want to learn these things, but sometimes we are the ones that don't let them we don't allow them to go through this.
See, and I think if we put that practicality back in there and the purpose back, and then we can really be teaching them those spiritual aspects that we wanna focus
Yes.
on, and what we should be really focusing on, like, when we're out camping, like, hey, we're having the s'mores and all that, no. You know what? We don't know. We might have to do this one day to survive because we might be persecuted because we know that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? But I think we've made a big
Not just the fun
disconnect.
stuff.
We've detached that,
From the
and now they don't
purpose,
see the
original
value.
intent.
And I think if we infuse that value of why this was started and what we're preparing you for,
They'll
it would,
appreciate it
they'll
better.
appreciate it and it won't take it so lightly.
So it goes back to the planning, it goes back to the staff getting together and feeling on
Your
the same,
staff need to understand
being on the
this too.
same page and say,
Yes.
what are we volunteering for? Why are we spending time every week with these young people?
What are we trying to teach them?
Yes.
What are we trying to prepare them for? Because they're not gonna go out in the world and become professional knot tiers.
Right. But why? But see that again, back to why AY has been changed. One of the reasons was why this activity's in
Yeah.
there. Why they wanted the purpose to be clearer for each activity. Okay, so intent and organization of IA classwork. Of course, we have personal growth, spiritual discovery, serving others, making friends, health and fitness, nature studies, outdoor living, and honor enrichment, which is of course just for the advanced IA only. Okay, within your toolbox, what are the tools that you can use to teach classwork that are within your toolbox? Got some up there. Discussion. Well, I'll go ahead and read some. Skits. Parables. Jesus taught parables. And we do that too. We come up with the stories that support the concept we're trying to teach. Lecture presentations. I don't know that kids learn that way quite as well. Maybe guides. Reading, writing, arts and crafts. I love arts and crafts. And I love when we can take arts and crafts and put a spiritual element into it. Memorization, hands-on work, demonstration. Hands-on work is so important. Anytime it can be more involving, it takes an instructor who's willing to be creative and put a little effort into it. How can I make this a little more involving? Demonstration, of course. If you want them to do something, then you first have to, it's just another tool in the toolbox. We use a lot of tools and we don't realize that that's what we're doing. It's another tool. To demonstrate it first. Group or pair work, that's nice too. And it's not the whole group, but sometimes it's one-on-one. Prayers can be better that way too. If you have them going around in a group like this, it'll be a general prayer. But if you pair them up with just one other person, it can be a more personal prayer then. Collaboration, learning by teaching, love this. Repetition and games. Repetition is good for memory work. I'm a big believer in repetition, but not to the point of it's, ugh. But if every time you got together, my kids, when they were 3 and 4, I started this. Every morning we had our devotional, and whatever the verse was, we'd memorize it. The next morning, we had a devotional. We reviewed yesterday's memory verse, and we learned the new memory verse. And the next day, we did the same thing, and the same reviewing, and then learning the new one. Before I knew it, my 3 and 4-year-old knew over 50 memory verses. They're 3 and 4. A 12-year-old can do that then.
Yes.
Right? So anyway, yes, memory work, repetition's great for that, or for learning anything. And then games. Yes, games. Okay, so what other tools would you add to this?
Songs.
Say what?
Songs.
Oh, yes, songs. Thank you, songs.
Yeah. Because my daughter is having to learn the books of the Bible, and if I had been a better Pathfinder parent and realized what she had to do, I would have brought a song, for her to learn it. She would have learned it quicker that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think we have, we've gotten out of using songs as much as we used to. Like, our pastor said, "How did you learn your alphabets?" And he was like, "The alphabet song. Everybody
Right.
knows the alphabet song, and when you can't remember if R comes before P, you sing the song."
That's right.
And yeah, so I think that's a good idea, is start using songs.
You mentioned another tool,
What?
parent involvement.
let's forget that too.
Let's forget that. Because we do want to
That's
build a
not-
family.
that's not- Yeah.
It's, and it's
that's
hard, it's not
reliable
that it's
too.
not hard, but it is another tool in the toolbox.
That's actually a good thing. Invite them for club meeting and let them stay the whole time.
I've heard of some that will quarterly have a parent night, I think it's an insured thing, but quarterly have a parent night where the parent can come and see what the kids do, see what they've created, put together, kind of a celebration of that quarter. Any other tools that we can throw in the toolbox? How about bringing in special instructors,
Right. Say that. Special.
field trips?
Videos, maybe. Video.
That would work. Videos. I did the Not Tying Honor with that DVD that's from Advent Source, and it worked. I still remember most of them. That was an awesome DVD.
Because you're doing visual, I mean,
Mhm.
I guess you can do the same thing after video.
Well,
Well,
I was doing
thinking-
it at home, so at home that worked for me.
Yeah, I want the not tying to be more practical, so let them give them tasks, give them problems to
Go put 'em in
solve.
a tree and tell them
I
to get
need
out.
I need to tie my cow, so bring tie the cow so that you don't strangle the cow.
Right.
That's you have to tie it in a good way. You don't just tie a slip knot,
Right.
and then tie it to the tree so it doesn't get loose.
Mhm.
And then, or make a laundry line,
Right.
or build a small, whatever they have to. I mean,
So
make
there's-
it more practical
right.
instead of just saying, this is how you do an eighth note. And an eighth note is so that it doesn't, you have a bigger hole, it will hold longer than
Right.
just a simple knot.
So we've got
sticker.
Practical
Yeah,
use.
practical.
Yes, not only practical use, but the interweaving of needed requirements into other activities. So I wish I had just a word for that, so we throw it in the toolbox. And then, you said something else that was important. I forgot what it was.
Tying up cows.
A tiny account.
That's just an example.
We have a dairy, so we can actually take
No,
a field
I
trip
grew
and
up
eat
having a
breakfast.
herd of sheep, a herd of goats, and then we had turkeys, and so we had like a bunch of animals, and so we had to take them to school and tie them on a tree, and then at recess we have to go out and make sure they're not, they're in the
Dead?
shade.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I was thinking. I know how to do those things.
But speaking of interweaving, also because parent involvement is interweaving. Also, any involvement with school or any involvement
Yes.
with the Sabbath school.
Yeah.
That's another tool for the toolbox. Again, it can be hard sometimes, but it is another tool that can be available to some people.
We're still trying to work that out with Andrews Academy, and.
I think we can do it though. I think we haven't really been
It's a good goal too.
intentional because we have enough Adventist school. We only have 2, and they both have Pathfinders
Yes.
in there from different churches here.
Yes.
I think if we presented it to them, at least our principal at our elementary school, I think would be open to it.
Mm.
I think we
Okay.
haven't really.
Tried.
Can
Yeah,
anyone
we
tell me
haven't
how
really
much
tried.
time I have left?
You have 40 minutes left.
I do? Oh, okay, that's much better than I thought. All right. Okay, so personal growth. Personal growth. Oh, I've been deciding whether or not I need to read everything. But, okay, understanding that God values each person. So we're talking about positive self-worth,
Yes.
encouraging confidence in their abilities. Again, safe. Are they safe and secure to try? Are they safe and secure to develop? Because it has to be a safe place in order for them to grow personally. Personal growth. We want them to understand that to build a personal relationship with Jesus through a daily devotional life, Bible study, and prayer. I love the prayer honor, by the way. In this track, Pathfinders learn how to apply the Pathfinder Pledge and Law to words, actions, and beliefs. The requirements are to be a specific age. To be a specific grade. use the daily Bible study and prayer to develop a relationship with Jesus and to model the Pathfinder pledge and law in their lives. Friends will need to read Matthew, companions read Genesis, explorers read Acts, rangers read John, voyagers read Romans, and guides read Revelation. And then, what I noticed about the weekly readings is that friends read weeks 1 through 13, okay? Times 4. Okay, this is 13 weeks, this is 13 weeks, this is 13 weeks, this is 13 weeks, okay? So that reading plan that they have is divided into 4 and covers through those first 4 levels. And then Voyager and Guide, it's the same reading plan, a little bit more. Like instead of 2 verses, they may want you to read the whole chapter, but it's the same reading plan, but divided in 2. So you have 26 weeks in Voyager and 26 weeks in Guide, just for your FYI. So, okay, so your toolbox. Please open your handout to, I think this is page 4. It's got your toolbox in it, and I forgot to ask you to add other things to your toolbox. And then with each section, which tools would you use? So we're in personal growth. What tools would you use for personal growth? Some of y'all are catching up with Friday, that's okay.
Which ones did you, said video, parent involvement?
Video, parent involvement, into school, Sabbath school, songs, yes, thank you. We'll remember some of them also when we're going through. So I would also add honors, because even though at honors as a tool, because even though this IA is more honors-based, there are still some things in here that don't require an honor, where an honor could be applied, such as the Bible marking honor, such as there are certain honors that require being able to show that you've done 6 months worth of devotional. So if you had to do 6 months anyway, you might as well get an honor where that's part of the requirements, right? So I would say honors is another tool. Okay, so what tools from the toolbox would you use to teach personal growth?
The most important one, I think, would be parental involvement.
I agree.
And then the second one would be if they go to an Adventist school, or if they're homeschooled, would be school involvement, because those are 2 areas. Meaning, if you have one Pathfinder or 2, or every 3, this can be a basis for family worship, or morning worship, or whatever.
Okay, well I do want to, we've covered this now several times in other classes, so I want to go ahead and add something new here. Okay, family worship is ideal. Them doing it on their own is ideal. But let's say you get to March and they've not done any reading. So rework this creative process. What might you do, because if we don't want them to, well, sorry, you didn't have your family worship, so you're not going to finish your class level, right? You don't want to do that. So, emergency mode. They have not done their reading. It's March. What plan could you implement to go ahead and help them to get it done, even though it's not going to be done as idealistically as we'd like? Yes, ma'am.
Listening to the Bible.
By the way, the investiture.com website, not all, some aren't, but they have each level and their reading weeks. So you just click on it and it plays that audio file. You click on the next one. So just so you know, your FYI, that is a resource. The investitureachievement.com website has all the audio clips available for kids to listen to. Any other thoughts? Emergency mode. They have not done any of their reading and it's March. How are you going to get them to finish? Lying is not
I would think spend the whole afternoon with them and a Sabbath afternoon with them and then do a game night afterwards. But you're there with them and they're in their own corner, and
that would work. It takes about 30 minutes to read a week, and that varies.
Yep.
I heard one person say 15 minutes. I'm like, are you serious? I can't. And I heard another person say an hour. I've never spent an entire one hour in a week. So I would say the average is probably about 30 minutes, depending on the kid. Yes, ma'am? Can I have something?
Or I would buddy up with a person who, for instance, if it's companion, and the everybody did theirs differently. Like some people did all their scripture reading first, and then they do the honors. So, everybody have their different ways of doing it. So I would recommend something.
Well, I like that even buddying up with another Pathfinder who might be
Yeah.
behind as well,
Yeah.
in your same class.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's another one
Yeah.
that's behind
Well, I'm
too.
gonna throw another idea out there. I did, we were 2 years in, and none of the kids have been invested, because none of them have done any reading. So, that's sad. You're brand new, you don't know. It's like, okay, that didn't work, and the next year that didn't work. Okay, we need to fix this. Okay, so what I did was called the Bible Warrior Challenge. It's a challenge. And by the way, I had a $100 first prize, so that kind of helped. All friend and companion, and they have 2 weeks to do it. And I told them, I said, hey, it takes 30 minutes per. So if you wanted to, you could finish this in 2 days, if you wanted first prize. And so that gave them, none of them finished until the end of the 2 weeks, by the way. None of them finished that quickly. But I agree that you could do it on Sabbath afternoons, because there really is the hours for it. And in emergency mode, you could do it. You could create a challenge, something that you could compete in and try to win a prize. So anyway, the Bible Warrior Challenge was successful, by the way. So anyway, stuff to consider.
Well, I want to plan ahead because we were discussing the same thing last night.
Yes.
That I'll put it in the calendar for my specific group to actually, on this specific date, this is what I'm going to email the parents to work on them for the devotional that week to actually do it. And then that way it's not always there, but I mean, just that week they're doing this devotional with their kids.
Yes, and that's ideal. But again, it doesn't always work out that way. I mean, I've tried that. The parent involvement thing's hard. It's
It
hard.
is.
Because I've sent it
We
home.
need to train them to be
I've sat there in front
masters.
of them and discussed it, and they still come back having done nothing. I'm like, talking to the
Yes.
parent doesn't work. I don't understand. So, that's why you need a toolbox, though. The toolbox is not one thing works always in every situation. Gotta be able
We
to
kind of
pull.
switch it around.
Mhm.
Yep, because with the parents, I get an email from the C, this is due, please help your children. And then, but I'll get another email from their teacher. And whatever Miss C just said, doesn't matter, because she has a test, or you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then that becomes the focus, you know what I mean, as a parent, that test that they're gonna get a grade in. So that's why parent is good, but it can't be something you rely on.
Yes, ma'am.
I think also, depending on how big the club is, because sometimes you could ask the instructors to get the different, the names for the kids, call them throughout the week. Say, I'm
Yep.
going to call you on Tuesday. Have you done your work again Thursday? And remind them, listen, if you don't do this, or you might not be able to be invested. If you don't do this, remember your unit is trying to get to a outing
prize
with,
now,
yeah,
right,
they're going
yeah.
to, so you're going to let everybody down, so they feel that I need to go with this.
So then the tools you used were reminders?
Yeah, remind us.
Calls,
Call them,
texts,
actually,
or
talk to the
reminder.
child, not the parent.
Right.
Talk to the child.
And then also a reward, so,
Apparently, well,
incentive.
Yeah, incentive.
Okay, so I really find that most directors struggle, most directors I've talked to struggle with the reading part. They're not
Yeah.
that they struggle, but they can't motivate their kids through it. So that, I wanted to spend more time on that particular part. I don't have time to spend a lot of time on each section though. So if we can keep our answers to the toolbox, throw some answers at me that are from the toolbox, and we'll move on to each section. Okay, so spiritual discovery. Hearing stories of God's love and protection and guidance in the lives of real people makes God come alive for the Pathfinders. We want them to grow spiritually and to study the real life of people in the Bible and Christian history. So requirements include studying the Bible and Christian history as a means of spiritual growth. Friends have to memorize New Testament books, companions, Old Testament, explorers to a concordance, sort of learning how to use a concordance. Rangers do Bible marking. Voyagers learn about SDA beliefs. I believe they learn a part of them. And then guides are supposed to give some Bible studies. So what tools would you pull out of the toolbox? And I love honors, so I'm going to go ahead and throw out there. Honor, Bible marking honor. Might as well learn it, right? What tools would you throw out for finishing spiritual discovery requirements.
Challenges, like you said, that would be good for the Bible, like, break it up and say, who can do the first 10
Uh-huh.
today? I have a lollipop, an apple for you.
Okay, well, incentive. Incentive does work. Let me tell you, on the memorization of books, my dad came into my school, he was our pastor, and he gave everybody the challenge of learning all the books of the Bible. And it took several weeks that he'd come in every Friday, and we'd be, competing to try and do it. And then when we were all finished, he handed out plaques with our name on it. And I still have my plaque today. So incentives do work, and a plaque is a great incentive. Serving others, focusing on the needs of others rather than self, encourages Pathfinders to embrace all of God's diverse family. Pathfinders experience the joy of service through outreach, friendship, evangelism, and other church and community activities. Requirements include participating in service activities, and participating in their communities, in friendship evangelism, in their church, and explaining the organization of the structure of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Friends, visit a friend, companions, visit an elderly, explorers, help in their community. Rangers earn the Serving Communities honor, Voyagers earn the Identifying Community Needs honor, and guides pick an honor of their choice. I think there's a couple to pick from there. So, what tools from your toolbox would you throw at this?
Field trips.
Thank you. I was hoping that would come out. Yes, ma'am. Walking down the neighborhood street and letting them, talk it out as they're walking down the street. What needs do they see that need to be filled? What else? Probably discussion. Okay. Making friends. Establishing friendships promotes positive spiritual and social growth, because my one-on-one with Christ can be enhanced by a deep spiritual one-on-one also with my friend. I'm a singer, so I say this especially as a singer. I love my spiritual growth when it comes to singing, to be in harmony with the person next to me, and to hear the music that comes out when we are singing. So, friendships promotes positive spiritual growth and social growth. We want them to be a friend to others in the community and to the planet, to have the opportunity to model positive benefits of Christian lifestyle, develop and apply morals and values, and demonstrate civic responsibility. Requirements include demonstrating a Christian lifestyle, being able to explain morals and values, and to demonstrate civic responsibility and duty to God. Friends, how it works is they have to do certain requirements, and then if they want it advanced, they finish the honor. So you see that the honors that are listed here, they don't actually have to do the whole honor in order to get standard.
It's just certain areas.
Yes, just parts of it. But why not finish the honors where I'm always at? Okay, so friends, they do part of the Christian citizenship honor, or whole for advanced. Companions, cultural diversity appreciation honor. Explorers, Christian grooming and manners honor. Rangers, the family life honor. Voyagers, stewardship honor. And guides, language study honor. What tools from your toolbox would you throw in this? There are several.
You did
The toolbox is right
role
here.
playing.
Role playing, very good. Demonstration, holding the flag. Demonstration, hands-on also.
Discussion.
Discussion, thank you. Games would probably be a good
Games,
one
yeah.
for some of these, to be creative with brain. Games, arts and crafts also. Anyway, y'all tell me. Yeah? Okay, next one, y'all tell me. Health and fitness. I'll just keep talking. That's the unfortunate part about me. Gabby defines me well. So stop me from talking, say something. Learning God's principles for a healthy life teaches Pathfinders of God's concern for their physical, emotional, and mental health. We want Pathfinders to apply health and fitness principles, to share these principles with others, because they are in a world where unhealthy is what most people do, and to have a kind way of being able to share that with others to help benefit their life as well. and to practice basic first aid and safety procedures. The requirements include practicing the first principles of health and fitness given by God, training others in health principles and safety procedures. So, again, except for some of these, no, that's right. The honors they need to complete are Friends Do Red Alert, Companions, Basic First Aid, Explorers, Basic Rescue, Rangers, First Aid, Voyagers, Physical Fitness, and CPR, and Guides teach Red Alert. And then the advanced part is the presidential, a fitness test, such as the Presidential Fitness Award. So, what tools from your toolbox would you throw at this?
Demonstration.
Demonstration, thank you. It's right in front of you, on the page.
Oh, you want us to use on this?
Yeah, go there.
And the skits.
Skits, that would work.
The first thing we gotta do the group. Community group is first.
Collaborative,
Group discussion.
have a fair board,
Huh?
a board.
Fair boot. So practical application, very good.
Overly dramatic acting.
That's true. Oh.
One of our deputy directors fell and hurt his knee as part of our health training. And we had, about 40 Pathfinders in the building at the time, I think, and they're all talking, but every single one of them heard him when he fell.
Good for him.
Yep, and this is a director who's normally very, very quiet. Overly dramatic acting. They all remember that part of it. They may not remember anything else, but they remember that part of it.
How about collaboration? Six-man
Yeah,
list?
collaboration, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone, yes. Okay, nature study. Exploring nature is an exciting way for Pathfinders to experience God. I like that, experience God through nature. Pathfinders should learn about God through observing nature, spending time outdoors, and being a good steward to the environment. Requirements include studying the natural world and explaining how God is the creator of all things and what nature tells them about God. The Friends, they learn about nature in the Bible. Companions, read the creation story. Explorers, a flood story. Rangers, 2 articles. Voyagers, 1 book or 4 articles. And Guides, is it the whole Desire of Ages or is it part?
I'm pretty sure it's the whole thing.
Whole thing, wow. Okay.
Not a 7th afternoon.
Right.
You could listen to it, it's actually
Yeah, you
faster.
can read it.
I agree. And guess what? If you download it on your iTunes, I don't know how many of y'all do iTunes or iPhones, but on iTunes, you can actually put it to 2 times the speed, and so instead of it taking 26 hours, it takes 13 hours to listen to it. And it's still understandable. You can still hear it. So and it takes less time. I kind of liked it. So that's how I did it. Okay. So what other tools would you throw at this? And by the way, there's also, that's not listed here, the nature activities. It's just like AOY, where you've got set up a bird or mammal station and log what you see for 7 days. Collect 15 seeds, or set up a terrarium for amphibians or reptiles. So, okay, so.
Which is where you bring in a special speaker. Because if you bring in another group that have a lot of time on their hands are the nature people. They like to come too. And they'll bring stuff. They'll bring birds and seeds and they'll bring whatever.
They make it more flavorful
Yeah.
than when we're just teaching it out of our cheat sheets.
Yeah.
You know?
They're actually, they know what they're talking about and they're so enthusiastic and they're
Yes.
so happy to be out of where they work. No.
But people who love nature have the same amount of time as everyone else. They make time for what they love.
No, they think, they want to educate.
They don't have
the
any more
people
24 hours.
They love to
don't
share
come
it.
to-
They
yeah,
love to
don't
share that
come,
love.
They
Yes.
will happily come.
Yes.
So I think that's another tool that we may not take as much advantage of, but
yes.
we could, especially around here, because we have all these nature centers and stuff
absolutely.
like
Or
that.
go to the nature center itself.
So field
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah, field trip.
Field trip, yeah. Very good.
Take a hike.
Take a
Say,
hike.
last year at the Michigan Camporee, our director instructed our entire Pathfinder group to split up in groups of 3, at least one of which had to be a TLT age or an adult, one or the other. And then they had to go for a hike around the boardwalk and look at nature, and they had to come up with one nature lesson that they could do based on what they see in the trees or in nature itself and what they've read in the Bible and how they can correlate the two, which is basically your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it just amazed me. I was doing the Friends that year, so I knew who all the Friend kids were. Those were the ones I knew. And of the group of 3, it was quite often the youngest member of the group that was willing to get up in front of the entire group to do this lesson. And I was very proud watching them do that too.
Well, then I'd add to your toolboxes object lessons
Yes.
and scripture. Scripture is another tool. It really does bless what you're learning. So I like that. Okay, outdoor living. Practicing outdoor living skills is fun and challenging. This age group needs a challenge.
Yeah.
By the way, I still need challenges.
And they need outdoors. They really need outdoors.
Outdoors, that's right. Get that energy out there. A fun, well, and it's a focused energy. It's focused on something good. That is something we can approve of. I really think they want to be approved of, but sometimes there are too many options that are wrong, and there's not enough approval for the good things. It's like, no, you're doing a good thing, and we are proud of you for it. Thank you for putting your energy into that. A fun and challenging way for Pathfinders to develop life and problem-solving tools. They can take that tool out into life. In the outdoor living track, Pathfinders perform outdoor skills, solve outdoor challenges, and participate in outdoor team activities. Love team activities. Okay, the requirements include model skills necessary for outdoor experience, solve outdoor challenges, and participate as a team member in outdoor activities. Friends, camping skills 1, companions, camping skills 2, and then camping skills 3, camping skills 4. The fire building and camp cookery honor. I love that honor. And then the guides have a choice of several different honors to pick from. Okay, so what tools would you throw at this? Yes, ma'am?
Just put them out in nature and tell them they have to find their way back home. They'll work together. And
Make sure you have
about
insurance.
An hour before dinner.
So surprise element.
But if you can't do that, which I think would be great, case studies.
Case studies. Okay.
Yeah, on nature. You know,
Sure.
like if you were in this scenario, what would you do to get out?
Okay, so case studies, I would add that to that, definitely, to your toolbox, case studies. And surprise element. That's important too. They love to be surprised and not
Right.
see it coming. So go ahead and put both of those down in your toolbox. Yes, ma'am.
When you go on the educational channel, they sometimes have where you get a video, how to survive in the desert.
Yes.
Actually, the person they show you, it's an hour program where they show you when he goes, he gets to pee and let it evaporate and drink his own pee. It's a little bit, but
Yes.
brings the
I've seen that
actual, you
show.
see
It's
somebody
good.
survive in the desert when there's no food, but he's eating, he's finding food and just digging the ground for the water.
Well, it's true because you
Yes.
can talk about it,
Yeah,
you know, but
but
then to
to
actually
see
see
it.
someone do it, it's like, whoa, that worked.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember that. Yes, ma'am?
Well, I was just about to say that because we're homeschooled, so we
Yeah,
watch
but
a
I
lot of
homeschool my
and
kids.
things on Discovery, and they have a lot of shows like that, how to
Yes.
survive. They have the weather. If you're stuck in a car, you know, and you're snowbound, you have to take the engine off. You have, you know, all these different things. So, yeah.
It's, this is not a good Christian example, but I watch reruns a lot, so I watched Friends, and so she got bit by
Oh my goodness, yes.
a starfish or whatever.
No, it was jellyfish.
You should,
So-
yes,
Yes, I've
jellyfish,
seen
you
it
should
too.
not know that. Anyway, you know what he had to do, they had to
Yes.
do, you have to urinate to get that sting out. And so we were in Jamaica a couple of years, and my daughter got stung by something. And so I was running around trying to figure out what to do, and then we went to the thing, and he was like, "Go pee on it," and I was like, "Oh,
Oh once a Pathfinder has completed an investiture achievement level, they can complete the honor enrichment and other advanced level activities. We talked about the presidential fitness is an advanced thing. For some of them, completing the whole honor is an advanced thing instead of just part of it. By the way, beginner swimming, we didn't say that. Beginner swimming is a part of all the levels in the health and fitness part, because they want all kids to know how to do that. And they have basic water safety also as an option there, which is so easy, by the way. Okay, so honor enrichment provides the opportunities for Pathfinders' accomplishments to be acknowledged publicly by the church and community, which increases Pathfinders' sense of self-worth. They're learning new skills, they're studying new content. This is advanced. They need to earn 1 arts and crafts or household arts honor at their skill level, and they earn 1 recreational or vocational or outdoor industries at their skill level. And again, Friend Companion skill level 1. And then I believe all of the other 4 is 2 or 3. They allow, it's a little more flexible there. So, what tool could you not use here, right? So how about instead of that, how about everybody says what their favorite 1 or 2 honors are for honor enrichment? What's your favorite? Yeah, okay. What's your favorite household arts honor?
I like baking.
Baking? I like pizza maker. I mean, I love pizza. Pizza maker honor is
I like laundry, believe it or not.
Laundry?
I love ironing. It's therapeutic. I love ironing as long as it's cotton.
There's a pizza making on it?
Yes.
Yes.
It's new, and it is a household arts honor.
Yep.
And you can do it, you know, hey, we're gonna have a social night, we're gonna eat pizza and watch a movie, but hey, at the same time, we're earning the pizza maker honor. Okay, what's your favorite arts and crafts honor?
Well, I love the household arts honor because you could do it, implement it while you're doing your, like, for instance, housekeeping. I'm teaching my son laundry, so he's learning that while he's actually doing
The honor.
So we've learned a lot of honors that way.
Sure. I mean, why not give the honor? I'm always kind of there. And also, again, not just for pride's sake, but to go ahead and turn around and make it a spiritual, ministerial, how can I serve others thing as well. Because he's serving you also to be a service and a help to his mom is a blessing. So, arts and crafts. What's your favorite arts and crafts?
Sewing.
Like that? Come on. I'm scrapbooking. I love scrapbooking. So that's my favorite arts and crafts honor.
Yeah,
So I make
currency.
drawing and painting, is that the Okay. Okay, what's your favorite recreational honor?
Backpacking, cycling,
Hiking.
canoeing.
Yeah. Yes, very much
That's
so.
a fun one.
I have had my camping skills hit where people said, well, you don't know how to do that. So I actually last year made a point of earning every camping skill that I could during that time. And it was a lot of fun. All the fire building and camp cookery was one of my favorites. I enjoyed that one. Winter camping.
Oh, yeah.
Because especially as a woman who doesn't have camping skills and doesn't like being outside, you look down on a little. I earned the winter camping honor, and I don't get looked down on anymore. I slept in 32-degree weather, thank you very much. With my baby. He survived just fine, by the way. We took each other
Yeah.
We should get it by.
No, by default. We get it by default. We're up there in Campo Sabo at 32 degrees below.
One time it was like
Outside
10.
or in cabins?
No, intense.
Intense. Oh,
Yeah, so we should get it by default.
well, but you need to do the worksheets too, because it's really important
Finish the
information.
rest of the.
Yeah, you still have to go through the parts that you need.
It's important
Just
information, and it's good for kids to learn, because it goes right along with survival techniques. It's very important. So, okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Okay, so as a Pathfinder instructor, you have your intentions. This is from the investitureachievement.com website. I have 10 minutes left. Okay, and I'm almost done. That's great. That's perfect. So you have intentions as a Pathfinder instructor to inspire and motivate learners, to emphasize quality rather than quantity. Let's do a good job of it. Allocate time, build knowledge, consider their developments and individual abilities to make activities meaningful. So, I'd like to give y'all some time now to put together, if you look on your handout on the last page, put together your own mission statement. We have just enough time for this. Your mission statement and vision are decided, well, usually by the whole club, but then you have your own individual class that you know their needs usually, because you've kind of been knowing them, and what direction you want to go in specifically in the class. So, for example, mission. I love the idea of a mission mindset, to instill a mission mindset in my class. So I'd say my vision then is to use all the different kinds of classwork to point back to the ability to use anything as a ministerial tool. I want my kids to see ministry everywhere, to have that vision, ministry eyes, and to not only be aware of these opportunities. I tell them, there's an angel over there saying, hey, over here, I need your help, this person's in need. Are you gonna ignore that angel who's trying to call to you? But you gotta have the right ears and the right eyes, as Jesus said. And to share God's love, but to have the courage to jump at those opportunities to serve others. So now I'm gonna give you the time then to decide, and if you'd like to pair up and talk to each other, if that would help you, you know your learning style, it's up to you. What is your mission statement? What is your vision? What are your goals as an instructor for your class? Okay, so we have 5 minutes left. Would anybody be the courageous one and be willing to share what they came up with? Ah, come on, who's got courage?
Mine could be this.
Okay, go for it.
I know we have a lot of scholars in the room, so we used to okay, I have, my mission statement is that every child have the opportunity to learn God's word by exploring their God-given talents and abilities. That's it.
That works. Beautiful. Thank you. You have a hand? Beautiful. Thank you. And about Yvonne?
Oh, you still won.
Of course.
To assist each Pathfinder in making practical and relational connections with God and each other while empowering them to achieve their goals.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
To equip and motivate the Pathfinder for the second coming of Christ.
Nice. Isn't that neat how it is so individual? That you as an instructor, inspired by the Holy Spirit, knowing the kids you're going to be teaching, that you would come up with something as individual as that. I love that. Thank you. Any others before we wrap up? Yes, ma'am.
To always help the Pathfinders to be open to new ideas and know that they will learn and see God in nature.
Love that. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
To instill a love for Jesus Christ and a commitment to SDA Christian living.
Cool. Yes.
Good.
Very good.
Christian.
Yes. Christian living.
I should train each Pathfinder for service to God and men.
Service. That's very good. Okay. So, that is it. God bless you as you grow as an instructor to his flock. And thank you for your work.